Grateful that you guys are taking the time to be here and cover us. Appreciate that tremendously. There's a difference between being proud and being happy. I'm not going to sit here today and say that you're happy about the outcome, but I'd be lying if I can't recognize that tremendously proud at the effort that the guys put in. I mean, that's a program that 3 years ago we play them and it's probably a 40, 45-point game, and honestly, it wasn't even that close. And to see the growth that came in the last 3 years is part of what you saw out there. Now, don't get me wrong, very sorry, sad that we weren't able to pull it out in the end. And in some ways, it looks a lot like a game that we might have won last year with the flip script, but the commitment to grow between week 1 and week 2 was immense. If we're willing to do that for the next 12 weeks, 11 weeks, I think we got a shot to be a pretty decent team. But those guys gave their brothers and this program and this university all of their heart, all of their body, and I'm pretty proud of that.
We open it for questions.
A game you could have won, obviously. When you look at it, what was the difference between winning and losing?
I mean, there's a lot of things, and it could have gone many different ways. I think their edge on the special teams certainly helped. I mean, if you think about missing 2 field goals, that really changed the complexion of the drives, probably the last 3 drives of the game, last quarter anyway. Certainly, we get a blocked punt, and that's good. Don't put the points on the board, and then they block a punt, and I think that was pretty big too on the block punt. I will say the way that we responded defensively after 2 shorter fields than it should have been, just so wildly proud. And we didn't have every single guy available to us or starter in, so the guys who were on the field fought tremendously to hold them to a field goal attempt, and that, I believe, that was the attempt that tied the game. And then I thought offense did a nice job. Michael moved the ball down the field. When you're playing a team like this, the margin is so ridiculously slim. You can have a 6-yard play on first down, but a 2-yard loss is going to totally change things. And maybe in a lot of other games it wouldn't. But we're not a team that's going to back down. So we came out believing in our trenches on both sides of the ball. I think that showed throughout the game, and hats off to you and I for certainly coming away with more points. But just so proud of the way that our guys fought for each other.
Last week you said that's who we are. Who are you today?
Well, that's a great point. I think I just told the guys, that's not who we have to be, right, last week. And they made a concerted effort to be a mentally tough team. I mean, again, I know I said it before, they gave every ounce physically, emotionally. And I think that now we have a shot to be a team that can learn and grow if we can stack those weeks like this past week on top of that. Logistically, I think the way that we're doing a nice job stopping the run is good. We've got to get our quarterback situation squared away. Certainly not having Gabe for most of the game today did hurt, but in his absence, Hope ran the ball very, very well. And we're going to have to be a team that learns how to get just a little bit better and more dynamic every week, because we're not there yet. But today's a nice foundation to build on.
Going for it on 4th down in
Yeah.
the first series.
Yep.
Did you have to do that just to let
I don't have to do anything, Dean, okay? I wanted to do it because that was my commitment to the offensive line.
Commitment and to show that you trusted him, particularly after.
I love our offensive and defensive lines, because they get no credit unless we give it to them internally. And I challenged him before the game because, frankly, I thought the way we played last week was gross. And I would go back and do it 100 times out of 100. And anybody who wants, I don't care what anybody says. That wasn't for a win. That wasn't for effect. That was because I love them and I trust them. And even though we didn't pick it up, coming off the field, the response, I think, is what set the stage for the rest of the game. And that's exactly what we needed. But I'm not backing down. And I think the way that you saw the game called early on both sides of the ball probably reflected that.
Coach, how does it feel to be able to rely on a guy?
Excuse me.
Gabe's game ended early, so you had Hope Adebayo come in.
Mm-hmm.
The guy behind Gabe, but not truly a second string running back. He can give you starter numbers any game.
You're talking about Hope, or you're talking about the guy?
Hope.
Yeah.
Being able to rely on him.
Yeah, and, I think anyone who watched him know Hope is so tough. He wasn't 100% today either. And just to be able to have someone who you can rely on like that, I think builds confidence throughout the team, certainly in the offense, but also in the defense. I mean, last week there were simply too many times that the offense didn't sustain drives long enough to keep the defense off the field. And now you get into a 3-hour game and pretty long game, and we only have to defend 55 plays. Like, that's what the offense has to do. It also has to score the ball more. But Hope is one of the reasons why we were able to do that. So blessed beyond what we deserve, but that's why we also recruit very hard. And for anybody who's out there who's saying, why would I go to that school? They already have a running back. It's because really we need 3. That's why.
You mentioned the quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go in thinking you were going to beat both, and how did it play out in terms of Michael taking over?
We did. I didn't expect that for 2 weeks in a row helmets were going to come off and we had to put the other guy in, just like I didn't expect the ball that you pop out of the goal line is going to bounce that way, but it happens, right? So we were going to go with a certain number of drives for Tack, certain number of drives for Michael, and then make a decision. It just so happens that Michael's first touchdown pass was on Tack's drive when he comes in, and I think, I don't know what the down and distance was, maybe 3rd or 4th down, probably 3rd down. We throw snare and hits Patty, and that was his first college touchdown. But we just felt, Coach Coral and the offensive staff felt like after the first 5 or 6 drives, pretty clearly that Michael was the guy to be able to go. And I think, how the game is called is different, and that's not always easy on an offensive staff when you have 2 different styles of quarterback, right? But it's necessary. And if we're going to grow as a team and be more explosive and keep the defense off the field and then grow to score more, we're going to have to call a little bit different. But I thought Michael, for the most part, did a nice job. I mean, little things like pulling the ball down when the coverage was solid and picking up first downs or picking up 6 yards on a first down. Those are chain movers. And 2 of those led to taking the lead there in the 3rd quarter with the field goal, the long field goal.
You mentioned the good job you did stopping the run, but their big number 2 was the one guy that kind of gave you trouble, and he was the one that broke the long run in the 4th quarter.
Oh, yeah, and let's be clear, all of their backs were big, whether it was 2 or 5, all of them, like massive, strong, fast human beings, no doubt. And, I mean, that look, for us to think that you're going to not allow any long runs when a team's commitment to it, just looking at the numbers right here. So 30 rushes for 232 yards, 99 passing for you and I. So the commitment, it was clear at halftime. And it's a little unfortunate that we didn't have all the guys. But like I said 8 minutes ago, the guys that were in there fought tremendously hard. And that's all we can ask for, Dean.
Is that feeling of trust you had for your linemen the same towards your special teams players when field goals weren't going in, but you trust him to kick one from 50 yards out?
I can say yes and come off like the nice coach, but I don't think any trust that I have in anyone as a player is greater globally than in the lines because, and whether it's trust, maybe that's not the right thing. It's just those are the positions that we've chosen to build this program on. And you see so many teams that can spike and dip and they go up and down. And if we want to be a consistently stalwart built team for like 20 years, I'm not talking for like 6, for like 20 years, you got to build it on stalwart things. And there's nothing more stalwart. But I do trust Shaggy, and it's not like we didn't have other options. It's not like we're hoping he'll make the kick. I've seen him make the kick. We practice those kicks every week. He's kicking better than he ever has in 3 years. He put the first one through. Alec didn't get off the field. We ended up having a penalty. That was bad. And then he missed the 2 after that. So it wasn't like we didn't have options to go for it or to punt or to put another kicker in. I just believed. I looked the kid in the eye at halftime and said, you're going to have a shot to win the game on your foot. So what kind of dude am I if I say that and then I don't back it up with my actions? We might lose, but I'm not a liar.
You mentioned a lot of guys got banged up. Brandon Smith seemed to be the one that was the worst of the bunch.
Yeah, and we'll have to. Have to see what the medical says, but I mean, such a tough kid. Everything you work so hard to recruit, to develop, and he catches a bad deal in the South Dakota game last year, and he was out for the season. And yeah, now my heart breaks, but my heart breaks. What else?
You mentioned second week in a row where you stop them, force the fumble near the goal line, it bounces and they pick it up and run it in.
Yeah, I mean, been doing this 29 seasons now. Here for a lot. And those are the odds. It's happened to us once in the first 16 years, and it's happened twice in the last 2 weeks. And you know what? Let's recognize that a lot of those other times the bounces might not have gone that way. But again, you have to think globally. Like when you're on a short yardage or a goal line situation and you're playing defense, our job is to get 11 guys to the football. That's our job. And I can sit here and say, oh boy, if that guy didn't run to the football, he would have been in great position. But all of this is because we run to the football. So if we end up catching the bad side of that, it is what it is. And you also have to credit them for taking advantage and being opportunistic when it is. But we don't get too caught up in the results. We do focus on the process. The process is right. Playing the way we played defense, stopping the run the way we stopped it, punching the ball out the way we did. Those are things we can control. Not going to spend time on things we can't control, like how it bounces. We hustle. We have great effort. We have great belief. We're tough. In the last 2 weeks, it's definitely cost us in very, very key situations. But that's life. That's life.
What was the situation with the illegal substitution at the end of the game?
They swapped out different personnel in which situation. Typically, as reviewed before and as always seen, the officials are to stop hatch the ball, they call it, as we run our guys on, and that did not happen. So we're in there. Whether or not we were actually, it's not a reviewable scenario, so we couldn't review that. But it's pretty clear when an offense substitutes, a defense runs on, and they weren't walking on, they were running on. You saw it. And that was missed, and the first down was given to them.
Coach, teams that can give athletic scholarships just have a recruiting advantage. That's just how it is. So where are you filling that gap and getting closer to them? Because it's
a great question that I probably need to think about a little bit more than 29 minutes after the game, but I appreciate it. But I think just in general, you're right, that's a tremendous advantage for a lot of schools, right? I would also say the reason why you're able to be in the position that our team is in is because of the belief in the fight and the heart. There's just something that is decidedly transactional about today's society. And there's something that's decidedly transactional specifically about college football. And I'm not going to lie, I think it's in a tough spot right now in some spots. Our kids are doing the right things the right way for the right reasons. And if today's game doesn't show you what care for brother can do when you have to push molasses uphill, then I don't know what will. I love our kids. They sacrifice tremendously. They love each other. And we saw hundreds of them that had come back today. And the pride on their faces is what makes me say, a lot of schools have a lot of things. I think we got a lot of things. They're just different things.
All right, thank you both.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right, as mentioned, we have junior tight end Patrick Wagner and junior defensive back Joseph Abeda. We open it for questions.
Patrick, speaking for the offense, what did it mean when Coach went for it on fourth down in that first drive?
I think it's somewhat of a statement piece. I think we're not afraid to go for it on fourth, but we're not afraid to do other things. I think that we are able to utilize all 4 downs, and that's just something that we have and are willing to use.
Did you get pumped up from it as a unit?
Sorry?
Did you get pumped up as a unit?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Every 4th down, we're ready to go. It doesn't matter. But I think that we're always excited, ready to go, no matter what down it is.
For the both of you, if somebody didn't watch today's game and they don't know college football, they might just see 2 losses and say, a loss is a loss, but as you guys know, you played in it. This week and last week were completely different games. What set them apart?
I think today was a fight. I think, there was a lot going into this already. Us playing them 3 years ago. We weren't in that locker room when we played them, but a lot of the guys were. And a lot of the guys that came before us were. And just feeling that from them, I think there was a lot going into today.
Yeah, like he said, there's a lot going in today. Them playing them 3 years ago, just all the emotions. I see it on the other guys' faces. And it was just really I really want to fight for them and fight for, what they built, because I just got here. So I just want to really fight for what they built.
There were a couple injuries today, so when a new guy comes on the field to replace somebody who had to leave the game, what are you guys saying to them in the huddle?
Telling them to be ready to go. I think everybody on our team is prepared and ready to go, no matter who they are, where they're at on the depth chart. I think we have a lot of trust in everyone to be able to fulfill that role, and everyone throughout the game is ready to go at all times.
I'm telling them, let's go. Ain't no thinking. We got to go. You prepare for this, we practice. Let's go. No blink, no think. We got to go.
Joseph, I'm sure it was tough to lose Brandon. How did the defense react to losing such a key guy like that?
We was really sad. We felt for Brandon. He's one of the leaders of our team, so we really felt for it. But the backup that came, Sanjay, he did really good, and we believed in him. So we was like, we got to keep going. There's no, our brother lost, so we got to play for him. So it just put a little bit more pressure on us to just keep going.
Coach said he had seen it once in 16 years, about 2 weeks in a row, where you stop them at the goal line, force the fumble, and then they scoop it up and carry it in.
Yeah, that was crazy. I've never been a part of that in the game, but yeah, it's just crazy how it happened 2 weeks in a row, So just so unfortunate, but yeah.
Anything could really happen in the game, so now it's just another thing for us to prepare for.
Any other questions?
Yeah, for either of you, obviously you didn't get the result you wanted today, but you both played significant improvement on both sides of the ball. How do you use this going forward to get you ready for the rest of the season?
I think it's just another brick to build off of. You know, we both wanted this game bad, but it's over. And so now we have to move on to the next the game and then the weeks after that. But if we're able to just stack on top of this and keep working, I think we can be a great team. And everyone around us, I think, believes that as well.
Like he says, just, you know, we got to stack another brick. You know, next week we got to stack a brick through practice and everything. So, you know, this is just another stepping stone, and we're just going to keep getting better each week.
All right, thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.